Your Excellencies, Ministers, and high-ranking officials of the state, invited guests, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a very great day in the history of the United Nations and in the record of the United Nations. I stand here to read a special message from the Secretary General of the United Nations, who at present is in Juba to record the assent of the United Nations to the Republic of South Sudan. And on my own behalf, I record my congratulations. And I read, on this day, July 9th, the Republic of South Sudan joins community of nations. Foreign dignitaries have converged in the capital, Juba, to watch the new country raise its flag and inaugurate its...
And observe a minute of silence in memory of martyrs, heroes and heroines who sacrificed their life for our freedom from the bondage of slavery, political, social, and economical marginalization. Thank you. You can sit it. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the President of the Republic of Southern Sudan and the citizens of Eastern Equatorial State, I welcome each one and every one of you to this historic event. This is the day that we, the people of Southern Sudan, have been waiting for. It was a long and a sunny way on which millions of lives and properties were destroyed. But thank God, at the last, we have made it. We have made it. We have made it. You are now free citizens. The history of Sudan is a history of division following the introduction of Islam in the 15th century, which gradually splits the country into Arab North and African South. Over the last 100 years, there were three important periods that were considered the political turning points in our history. The Turco-Egyptian rule, which began in 1820s. The Anglo-Egyptian rule of 1898 to 1956, and the so-called independence of 1956, which later turned to be independent of Northern Sudan alone. The first period started with the Ottoman Sultan viceroy in Egypt. Muhammad Ali entered Sudan in the earlier 1820s and brought Northern Sudan under his rule. The Turco-Egyptian rules lasted for decades, during which there were annual raids into Southern Sudan. These raids resulted in the capture and enslavement of thousands of black Sudanese, as well as the destruction of economy and stabilization of the region. Similarly, the United States having expelled the Turk Egyptian Conqueror from Sudan in 1885 continued their expansionist policies in the North and Southern Sudan, but did not succeed in bringing the South under their rule. In 1898, the British forces expelled Abdullah's successor, Khalifa Abdullah, and the following year the Anglo-Egyptian joined the rules was proclaimed over the whole of the Sudan. The overthrow of the Mahdi's states raised questions about the administration of the Sudan. The northern part of the country had been separated from the north during the previous rules. To solve this, the British applied the closed-door audience system of administration in 1920s. This system aimed to reduce the reckless exploitation of the resources in the South, abolish the slave trade, preserve the cultural diversity of the Southerners, check the spread of Islam in the South, and initiate the separation of African Sudan from Arab Sudan. Ladies and gentlemen, there are three main points that I need to make here. First, the political history of Sudan tells us that Southern Sudan has never been a part of Northern Sudan since the creations of Northern and Southern Sudan. The two regions have been distinct in so many ways in terms of environment, race, culture, resources, and religion. Secondly, the whole Sudan as a country was originally created as a result of the colonial geographical delimitations. Its initial objective was to serve colonial interests, and it was not based on any social contract or agreement with the Sudanese people. The elite of Khartoum and the nearby central Sudan took over the colonial states and managed it as if it was a magical tree that perpetually bears fruits of all kinds. The two exclusionist ideologies of Arabicism and Islamism henceforth form the basis of the factional Sudanese colonial state. This limited vision of Sudan's successive regime fueled most of the problems that plagued the country since independence and have resulted into the many wars we have been through. Third, Sudan history was one of the failed peace agreements. The greatest barriers to the Sudan unity have been unwillingness of the North to accept a pluralistic society and their politicization of Islamic ideology. Past peace efforts have failed to resolve issues of religion, ethnicity, resources, and self-determination between the North and South Sudan. The Sudanese provisional parliaments attempted to resolve North-South tensions in 1955 by passing a resolution declaring the North and the South to be one united sovereign country. However, it soon became clear that the provision granting the South political powers and maintaining its cultural identity were not being honored by the Northern politicians. In 1965, Roundtable Conference failed because Northern sectarian parties rejected the federalism demanded by the Southern Sudanese. 1972 Addis Ababa Agreement established the principle of regional self-government in Southern Sudan and then collapsed in 1983 because Khartoum failed to implement it and instead imposed the Sharia law. The Constitutional Conference called the Papadam Declaration of March 1986 was never held because Sadiq al-Mahdi rejected it